Welcome everyone. We've had a couple of really great tips and tricks shared about Zoom. I just wanted to hop on super fast and share just a few that we've gotten in video form. So one of the first things that I would recommend, and it's all over the place, is to consider your lighting, if at all possible, to also consider the noise level and your background. So right now I'm in front of a window, the light is hitting me in front of me, there's not light coming from behind me, which really helps to be able to see what I'm trying to say in the video. I've picked the most quiet place in my house. With everything that's going on right now, just do the best that you can. And then additionally, what I have behind me is a green screen, and I've selected a virtual background. This is a little bit more advanced. However, I don't have to worry about if there's a mess behind me, if I don't want somebody to see what's behind me. That is one way that we can control that. And I will show you that in the next video, but first things first, consider the noise in your area, consider your lighting, and consider what's showing exactly behind you. The next tip I will share is consider sharing a welcome slide so that the people who are entering your room know that they've joined the correct meeting. There will be plenty of us using Zoom room meetings during this time, so it's helpful just to make sure that you're communicating what meeting this is and that they joined correctly. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. I'm showing one right now, which is a welcome slide. So I used a Google slide and I put a couple of reminders in for my people that are coming in so they can see it. Now, one other tip that everyone has shared is to make sure that you mute your participants upon entry. I will go ahead and show you how to do that, but once they're in, they can select to unmute. So one thing that I tell them is, please make sure that you remain on mute until otherwise instructed to do so. There will be times where we'll have a discussion, but if I have 100 people in my room, I don't want the background noise from 100 different places. The other thing is that they identify their first and last name. So if you join, it could be just a Zoom room number that joins. So the way that they do that, I've showed with a picture. They click on, for them it would say participants, and then the little more next to each of their names, and then just have them put in their first and last name. That way, if you have 5 Brians, it's not super confusing which Brian you're talking to. So the next thing we'll talk about is how to set up your settings so that everyone, when they join your Zoom room, is muted upon entry. So what I've done is I've logged into zoom.us, so this is just my regular Zoom profile. And once I go down to my settings on the left-hand side here, I'm given a bunch of different options. And what I'm looking for is the ability to mute upon entry. So I just did a Control F, and it's about 25% of the way down, and you're going to see the option to mute participants upon entry. You want to make sure that that little radio button is turned on. Now, it will automatically mute them when they join, and you get to control whether or not you want them to mute or unmute once the meeting gets started. But that is a really good setting to have turned on. That way you're not having to mute all of your participants as they're coming in. Another pretty quick and easy tip is if I wanted to record my meeting for future use, or if I wanted to download it and make it available for the students that weren't able to join at the time that we were scheduled to meet, I would just want to make sure that I set the meeting to record before I got started. It seems pretty obvious, however, I am very guilty of I get going and I've completely forgotten to hit that little record button. So you want to make sure you hit record, and if possible, record to the cloud as opposed to your device. You have much more storage there, and you have the ability to do an automatic transcript, which is great for people who want to search through the meeting. So let's say you talked about cellular biology and you wanted to be able to search the transcript. That is a possibility with that feature. Another really cool feature that I love is the ability to raise your hand in the meeting. So let's go through this. My participants are all on mute and somebody has a question. So you have a couple of different ways that you can address this. You can have all questions going in real time to the chat. You'll want to make sure that you're monitoring the chat periodically as you're going. Another option that you could do is a virtual raise the hand. So for your participants, they would scroll down to the bottom of the Zoom screen, and for them it would show as participants. Once they click on that participants button, it'll show options like raise hand, go faster, yes, no, go slower, more. And with those options, I'm looking at it as a participant right now. What you would see is if somebody needed to raise their hand, it would show up for you in the video screen. It would also show up for you in your participants section as well, so you know that that person has a question. So I'm a really big fan of that one too. It allows them to communicate with you in real time. And just one more tip as we're going, and this is all new to a lot of us, but just make sure you give yourself some breathing room and some flexibility. You may have technological challenges, and that's totally okay. We are here to support you. If you have any other questions, please consider joining one of our drop-in sessions. We have them scheduled throughout the week and into next week as well. So this is Brittany Williams with the Teaching and Learning Center, and I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you again soon.